welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Kay Murray and Craig Burley here in the studio. There has been an update on the Marcus Rashford and Manchester United situation. So before we tell you what that is, let's just go back a little bit.
He's in a nightclub again.
No, he's not that.
He's back in the nightclub.
He was in a nightclub, though, according to reports, on Wednesday night in Belfast, which was OK because Thursday was a day off for Manchester United's players. But then reports came that he was seen out again in Belfast on Thursday night, and he reported ill for training on Friday. So he wasn't at training for Manchester United. And then the next we knew came the FA Cup game against Newport County, and he was out of the squad. They said that he was absent due to an illness. When Erik Ten Hag was asked about this, he said that it was an internal matter, didn't want to discuss it further at that point. Anyway, Marcus Rashford has met with Erik Ten Hag and issued a statement, have the club, Manchester United. That is the update. It's a fresh statement saying Marcus Rashford has taken responsibility for his actions. This has been dealt with as an internal disciplinary matter, which is now closed. He will be available on Thursday for the game against Wolves. Let's welcome in Aage Fjortoft and Melchiot to talk more about this. But let me start with you, Craig.
I thought you were going to say he's met with Erik Ten Hag to say, listen, what a great nightclub. You've got to get yourself over.
Well, he might have.
You've got to get yourself over there. It's jumping. I mean, look at us three. We wouldn't know what the inside of a nightclub looked like these days. You know what I mean? But well, maybe Mario, you know, when he goes back to Holland and all that. But look, the game has changed. The way the game is covered is changed. And if you think you can get away with this kind of stuff these days, you know, more fool you. Manchester United are the focal point, as they always are, but even more so at the moment, they're a huge focal point for us in the media because there's big investment. There was a potential takeover, which didn't happen. We have a struggling football team. We've had so many curveball stories off and on the field. And Marcus Rashford has to realise that, you know, he doesn't need to fuel the fire for himself or this manager unless he really doesn't care. These things get out. This is not when us guys were playing and we'd, you know, the teams would go down the pub and would be having beers and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, you'd get spotted. But this is, whatever you do now is magnified. And Marcus Rashford clearly understands that, and it would seem on the face of it, has got a brazen attitude towards it.
So why? Is Ten Hag lacking respect of these players, Jan? Because this isn't the first player that's had to be disciplined here, and it's not the first time for Marcus Rashford that he's had to be disciplined.
And the irony is that he's brought into Manchester United to get him disciplined. I mean, that is a part of the whole story. But imagine Marcus Rashford when he calls his manager and said, I'm talked to a club. Which club? A club in Belfast. Twice! I mean, Marcus Rashford, and Craig said it as well, you have to read the room. It's just like unbelievable that one of the greatest, and I say that, define us as one of the greatest footballers in England because he is in the England squad. He has a good chance to be at the Euros if he could hit the target then and again. But how can you not read the room? Sir Jim Ratcliffe comes in. I mean, you have to read Ratcliffe saying, or he will bring in the 1% philosophy, we're going to be better at everything. And you start by doing something like this. I can't believe it. I just hope that Marcus Rashford understand as quick as he can, he doesn't end up like a footballer 35 and think, I hope I did more. Because action like this can throw around all your career. And there is no way you can act the way that Marcus Rashford is doing at the moment. Yes, I'm having the Manchester United. They had to close it. But Ten Hag, you could see Ten Hag before and after the game against Newport. He did not like this. So, Mr. Rashford, please read the room. Because what you're doing now is that you're saying to everybody that wants to listen to the silence is that I don't care. Ten Hag will be away soon. I got a contract at 2028.
I'm glad, Mara, I'm glad Jan has had a bit of a rant there about Marcus Rashford, and it sort of saved me because...
Were you feeling like a grumpy old man?
No, yesterday I had a very similar rant on a couple of occasions, and I thought, right, I don't want to revisit that today from that respect, but Jan obviously feels the same way as I do about it. Here we have a guy, he's just thrown away at this moment in time his talent, and it's, and sorry to go on, but, the point I was making yesterday is, all these great Man United players of the past, most of them, when they have the season that Marcus Rashford had, right, whether it's Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea, anybody, when these great players have these seasons that just spike, next year, and that's what I'm saying to you, next year these guys, they want to go out and they want to better that. And then they want to better it the next year. And then they want to better it the next year. Now, it doesn't always happen, but it's not for the want of trying, right? And I stand by my point, right? And you look at this, that Marcus Rashford got this huge deal off the back of a great season for him personally. And basically, he's rested on his laurels. And it's not just the nightclubbing, it's the attitude in games, the lack of appetite and desire to work hard. So I'm really disappointed with this guy from a watching him sort of talented perspective.
It's also sad. It's sad because when you play for a team like Man United, you get a lot of opportunities. I remember my time when I came over as a young kid, come to London, right? You come to a city where everything is possible. He's in a city where he's playing for a team that is the marketing level and the attention level for Man United. Some people maybe don't understand it, but it's like the biggest in England. Like, it doesn't matter what team you play for. Even if Man United is not doing great, everybody knows the individuals of Man United, and definitely Rashford. So for him then to take the risk in going to a city where he knows that, okay, he probably took a private jet thinking like, okay, I can slip away from it and people might not see me. But you're still Rashford. And then what we talked about, like extending his deal, the numbers that just came up with highlighted, great season, new season. The season is struggling. Ten Hag is just getting situation after situation. You're supposed to be, right now, Rashford, he's that good because when he's focused, no one has to dispute his talent because he has the ability to do things that probably, arguably, not a lot can do in his team right now. But then for him to put it at jeopardy, I don't think it's a smart move. I think when we have moments like that as players, you have to make a decision. And sometimes you have to do what we call then the boring decision and just stick to the game and just focus on your football game. And he didn't do that clearly.
I wonder if
punishment.
I wonder if Erik Ten Hag's thinking, do you know what? I wish I hadn't taken this damn job. All the problems, and he's not been perfect, but all the problems that he's had to deal with. Ronaldo, Greenwood, Sancho,
But
Anthony.
he's been warned, Craig, he's been warned in Holland, When he got that job, someone warned him. Like, when he got the job, I think he had a call with Van Gaal. And I think, I don't want to quote on it, but I'm sure that because I know that someone said to him, don't take the job. That doesn't mean you don't have to take it because Man United, come on, if you come from Ajax, he came from Utrecht, Ajax, Man United. I mean, if you take those steps, you're going to carry on, Craig. We'd have done the same. But away from that, I totally understand. What a job he has.
But I think
he had to take the job, Jan. But I mean, I'm just thinking now. If you look at it, the jobs that are coming up: Liverpool, Barcelona, maybe Bayern Munich, depending what happens with Leverkusen and sort of Tuchel, and we'll get to that in a bit. These big jobs are coming up, and if he'd maybe sat, and it's all hindsight, if he'd sat where he was for a bit, he might have still been the leader for all these big jobs, where at this moment in time, all he's doing is fighting fires. His reputation is definitely taking a hit. There is no doubt about that. And sometimes you look back and think, well, but it's I get it, Jan, it's Man United. I suppose he had to jump at the chance.
Yeah.
But I think it's hard. Although you're a manager for Ajax, and I have a lot of load or respect for Ajax, of course, but my Manchester United, that is another level. And I think that every manager will think that I can fix that. I think that what he did not see through or analyze well enough is the culture of Manchester United. I'm on my own. I have to do this on my own. There is no structure. There is nothing that can help me doing that. And these are the consequences of that. I think Ten Hag, we are talking about, well, we don't see what he's doing on the pitch, but I think that a lot of the things that he has been doing, and I think we are talking about Klopp, is 3 days since he said, I don't have enough energy. I think that the big step coming to England to be a manager is that you're all on your own. Just compare it with Germany. You have 7 or 8 people, a sport director, a head of sport, you have the president, you have a CEO. They're all in the media covering you. In England, you are all on your own.
He's been public with some of the other punishments in the squad, and we've heard what he's had to say about it. But you wonder what type of punishment this is for Rashford here, because it was clear that he was left out because of the situation over the weekend. But now he's available to play again on Thursday against Wolves. So, is he commanding the respect from these players? What's to suggest he won't do it again?
Yeah.
Well, he needs them, doesn't he? He needs them at the moment, and you know the trouble is we go back to Rashford is will a leopard change its spots? Well, he's had problems before. He seems to have a mindset where he kind of thinks he can do what he wants, and if you watch him this season from day one in games, there's been some games where he's really come alive, but the bulk of the games he's played for Man United this season, he's been going about the field and I'm not going to track back, I'll leave that to somebody else. It's all been kind of half-hearted and sort of lazy and, dare I say, disinterested. So, is that attitude going to change? I don't know. I just don't know. And this is a huge headache for United. You've got people like Rasmus Højlund up front, a youngster who's come in, and you can criticise him, you can look at him and say, well, will he be able to do this and do that and do the next thing? But he works his socks off. He works his socks off. So does Garnacho, so do even Casemiro. When he plays, when he's fit, he doesn't swan around. He might not be the speedy, quick guy anymore, but this attitude that Rashford has, it just bemuses me.
It comes down to also to leadership, Greg. You know, sometimes when you're in a situation the way where he is he has to understand that he is that close of being the leader overall. You have to be a leader anyway, because I think any individual, when you come to a football team, you have 11 leaders. But away from that, you could be the ultimate leader I'm talking about. You understand? If regardless if Fernandes is wearing the armband, you are that talented, and you're a kid from that city. You played in the youth system, so all the stacks are all backing you to be successful. And then you also have shown everybody your talent. And then just what you highlighted in the sense of it looks like something is not happy inside of him. And I think this decision is made regarding that, thinking I'm not happy with the way I'm playing or what is happening on the field. Now I'm in the club and I'm thinking you know what, I call this out. Well, normally when he started, come on, how enjoyable was it to watch a young kid that was so hungry? And now I'm watching other ones playing, but I want him at his best and him playing for Man United, because I know a top Rashford, even I would not want to play against him, because he's that fast and that direct.
The thing is that I think that we can only base our analysis over what we see. So we don't know what's going in his mind. We can't understand what's in and around his environment. We can't do that. But what the fans can demand is the easy stuff. There has been incidents with Rashford before. He's an England international. He can play at the Euros in the summer. I'm saying that all the time because he's a very valuable player for his country. So when we sit here, we're a bit elderly football players, we will think back, did we have people like this? Of course. But they came to training and they came to training the next day. They didn't do stupid things. They did stupid things, but somehow in the public. Is it different now with the modern game? Yes. Can you get away with a jet going to Northern Ireland? Of course you can. But can you go into a club? No, there is no chance in the world. And for me, what he is telling me, Marcus Rashford, without using words, is that I don't care. I don't want to be a leader. I will take the chance that people will not pick me for England. Gareth Southgate won't pick me for England. And you do that with 4 goals in your bag. They say Sir Alex Ferguson treated Erik Cantona other than the other players? Yes, because he was a jewel in the crown. Rashford is now a striker who can't score goals. That's what he is at the moment.
But what gets me, guys, we've all been in dressing rooms where somebody would police this.
Yes.
And I wonder if there's anybody in this United dressing room that has the personality, the drive, the authority out with the manager. Because the manager needs people in the dressing room. And if that was a dressing room I was in, and I had a bunch of guys that I played with at several clubs, if we had a guy who was perceived to be having an attitude like Rashford, with his talent, with his ability, every day with somebody in training, kicking him. I mean, he would get a gigantic kick up the backside. Come on, son. Come on. Are you with us or you're not? Come on. You might as well go and train with the kids. Go and train with the reserves. You don't want to be here. You don't want to be here. And you don't want to fight. And you don't want to scrap. Go and tell the manager, right? Because you're no good to us. And that's his teammates. That's how some of our teammates would be.
But who's going to do that?
Doing that.
Who's going?
Exactly.
Yeah, because no one can do that. Because you calling exactly, because I remember my time when I came to London, I wanted to go after training. Greg, you know the King's Road, how beautiful that street. Come on.
Yep.
So I wanted to go after training. I wanted to go and get lunch there. You know what he said to me in the dressing room? I said, hey, are you coming to have lunch with me? He said, are you crazy? You're going home. You're going to sleep. When you wake up and recovered for an hour, then you can call me. And then we will go something. And I was like, no, I want to go now. He said, no, because you have to perform in the weekend again. And I'm the captain. I expect you to do well. So go home and sleep, young boy. And I was like, okay. I went home, sleep. And then we went for lunch.
But the problem is, Craig, when we talk, we're talking about the 90s, so we are the older boys and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But attitude doesn't get out of fashion. And if you see a Manchester City team, you can name 4 or 5 people who will tell a young kid, get yourself in order. Get yourself in order. Because Wednesday we're playing an important game. Saturday we're playing an important game. Then it's Champions League and so on. So there are teams, but I'm with you guys, who will do that at Manchester United. And if there is someone, they're hiding that skill very well.
Yeah.
So Thursday could be an important game for Marcus Rashford. He is available to play against Wolves, but before that...
He'll probably get a hat-trick.